Hey guys, it's Liz here, and today I'm going to be showing you how I build my nails using this Aimeili Builder Base. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that everything is off of your nails. So I had some lifting on this nail and I ignored it, and it ended up coming off on me because I had some nail damage. So the best way to get this off is to soak off. So you want to start by taking a buffer block or a file and just filing off the shiny top coat. Then since it is just the one nail, I take some soak off. Now you want to make sure that your soak off is 100% acetone. This one does not have any water in it. Some of them have been putting water in it, so you want to check for that. If not, you can just use regular acetone and put some coconut oil on your finger to protect your nail and skin. Then I'll just wrap that around my finger and put one of these clips on, and that'll help me so I can go around while this is soaking off. So after all of that is soaked off, then the other thing that you want to take off your nail is your invisible cuticle. So the way that I like to do that is I use some Vaseline around my skin to help protect my skin, because I like to use the Blue Cross cuticle remover, and that can be a little irritating for your skin, so this helps protect your skin. I did put my Blue Cross cuticle remover in a little dropper bottle that makes it easier for me to put it on my nail. Hangry Dips actually just started bottling theirs in a dropper bottle, so you can go ahead and just buy it in a dropper bottle, or actually a cuticle pin as well. So I hold my cuticle pusher kind of far back so that I'm not putting any pressure on my natural nail while I am pushing back my cuticle and scraping off that cuticle. So you want to use very little pressure, and I also use this other side to kind of just scrape around there, and again using very little pressure because I don't want to damage my natural nail while I'm doing this. Another tool that you can use is the Bonafide Cuticle Pusher. It's just a crystal file on both ends. It's got two different ends that you can use. Again, you want to be very little pressure, especially if you're using it with the cuticle remover, because that cuticle remover is already softening your nail and the cuticle, so you don't need a whole lot of pressure to push back the cuticle. I do like using this a little bit because you need to buff that natural nail just a little bit. So this tool helps to do that while you're pushing back the cuticle. Again, it's very gentle because it's the crystal file, but it does kind of buff that natural nail, because you do need to buff the shine off of your natural nail before you put any kind of nail enhancements off of it. You don't have to rough up your nail, but you do need to at least kind of buff off that shine. So now my nails are already prepped and ready to go, but what I like to do before I put any other nail enhancements on my nail is to put back some of that oil that I just took off. So like I said, that cuticle remover can be a little harsh on your nails and your skin. So this is what I'm doing here is doing a hydration treatment, and I got this technique from nailcareheadquarters.com. They've got a lot of great information over there. So I just put a bunch of cuticle oil, and I will a lot of times put lotion all over my hand, shove it inside of a glove, and then leave that on for as long as I can, sometimes overnight. So if you do have any irritation after you remove your cuticles, then this will help to get rid of any of that irritation before you move on to the next step. So the next step is to buff off any shine off your nails and remove any lifting if you have any previous enhancements. So since I am doing a refill of my nail enhancements, I will be using an e-file to take off the shine. This is the e-file that I use, and I will be using the sander band. I find that it works fine for just taking off the shine of that nail enhancement. I also have this dust collector that I've been using, and it does work really well to collect all the dust, so it's not all going up in the air and all over the place. So I definitely would recommend that for any type of filing that you are doing. So as I am filing, I am just touching the nail. I am not putting a whole lot of pressure. When you're using an e-file, you want to let the speed of the drill, and that's why they talk about RPMs with a nail drill, because the faster that it goes, the faster it's going to take that enhancement off. So I kind of have it on a medium speed. I'm not really sure. I think the RPMs on this one is 20,000 RPMs, which is enough for me because I'm still kind of getting used to the e-file. But the main thing that you want to do with this is just let that speed of the drill glide over your nail and let the speed of it take the nail enhancement off. You don't want to put any pressure on the e-file at all. Now, if you do find that you have some lifting on your nail, you do want to take that off. And again, you want to just slowly get down to where that lifting begins. So I'm again not putting any pressure, just slowly gliding that e-file over the nail and trying to just slowly get down to where that nail is lifting. I'm also just trying to keep the whole nail enhancement just a gradual slope. I don't want it just to pop off that at the place where it is lifting. I want it to be more of a gradual slope down to that free edge, and that will help me with whenever I build back my nail enhancement later. So once it's thin enough in that spot, I do try to kind of bend it back, and that will kind of help me to see where the lifting stops. But you want to do this very carefully because you don't want to create any more lifting of that nail enhancement. So once you kind of get it pulled back, then you can just carefully, well, that one just kind of fell off, but you can kind of use the drill just to kind of carefully buff that off as well. So I'm not using this on my natural nail at all. This is just the nail enhancement. If you do have to buff your natural nail, I do suggest using a crystal file or a grit that is like a very fine grit. And usually I would suggest a very high grit, such as a crystal file, on your natural nail, because you just need to take off the shine. You don't need to rough up your nails. You just need to lightly buff off the shine of your nails. That's all you need for an enhancement like this to adhere to your nail. So this file that I'm using now is a ceramic drill bit, and it does work pretty well as well to take off any lifting or file any of the nail enhancement away and kind of not create any large grooves. So once I have all of that done, then I do want to buff any large grooves off of my nail that I might have created. So this isn't completely necessary, but it will make sure that when you fill in your nail enhancement that you won't have any cloudiness. So before you add any nail enhancements onto your nails, you want to remove all the oils from your hands and moisture from your nails. So I begin by using some alcohol to clean all of the oils off of my hands. So this will ensure that while I am doing this, if I accidentally touch part of my nails, that I have most of the oils off of my hands. So I don't get any of that onto my nail, because nail enhancements do not like to stick to oil, and they don't like to stick to moisture either. So this is kind of also taking some of the moisture out of my hands, and I'll just add it back at the end with some cuticle oil. So I also dehydrate my nail bed by using this IBD. This one works really well for me. So I just use it on my natural nail. So right here you'll see me just kind of putting it around that nail enhancement, because that's really the only place that I need it. And this one I'm having to build back my entire nail, so I put that dehydrator on my entire nail. Now I should be trying to wipe that brush off after each time I wipe it on my nail, because if I have any residual oils on my nail, all that's going back into the bottle, and I usually try to do that. After you get all of that dehydrator on your nail, you want to make sure that you let it dry completely before you start to build your nails. So I like the Aimeili Builder Base because it is a base and a builder in one. So you don't need to start with a gel base. You can just go straight to this builder base. So when I am doing a typical refill that didn't have any lifting, I just start a little ways away from my proximal fold and push back to that proximal fold without touching my skin. You don't want to get any of this product on your skin. If you do, you just want to make sure that you get it all off before you cure. So because this nail, I've already built it before the way that I needed to build my apex, I'm just putting a thin coat of this builder base, again, just to fill in that little area that doesn't have any builder base and to protect my natural nail. Once I get it all completely on there, a thin layer, then I will cure this for 30 to 60 seconds. Usually when I am curing completely, then I will do a 60-second or 1-minute cure. So after it is completely cured, because it is a builder base, it does have a sticky coating so you can continue to build on that nail. But since I am done with that nail, I just take an alcohol wipe and wipe off all of the sticky layer, and then that refill is complete. If you do find that you have any imperfections, you can just buff it down with a crystal file. So if you are building from your natural nail, you want to build up your apex like I mentioned before. And I do have another video that goes more into depth about why and how you build an apex. But the main reason is that it creates strength right there on the nail bed so that if your nail does break, it doesn't break on the nail bed, it breaks more towards the free edge. So the first layer is just going to be a strip down the middle, just like there, and you want to cure it for about 30 seconds, and then you can create another layer. Because this is a builder base, then you can just layer it on top, just like you see here. Because this is a smaller nail, my pinky nail, and it is not really that long, it's kind of a medium length, I'm only adding 2 layers, but if your nails are longer, you want to do probably 3 or 4 layers to build up that apex. Since this is just the builder base, I will be adding more color over it, so I didn't want it to get too bulky on those bottom layers. So now I'm going to be showing you how to build your nails using a nail form. So if you have one that breaks and you need to build it out a little bit from the free edge, then you want to use these nail forms, and there's lots of different kinds. These are pretty cheap, but they're actually pretty sticky, so they work pretty well. And there are lots of different ways to put on your nail form. There's some people that say to keep this attached. There's some people that tell you to pinch the front first. Some say to put it on and then pinch the front. I just try to, you just kind of find what works for you. So what works for me is I kind of lightly pinch the front just a little bit, and then I open up the back to have these 2 little wings, and then I just guide it onto my nail. And then once I get it straight from my nail, you don't want it to be pointing down, you want it to be sticking straight out from that nail and to be really level as much as you can to that nail. And then you're just going to pinch the sides so that the sticky part is sticking to your finger so that it doesn't move. If you can pinch the back ends back together so that it doesn't move, but this one's pretty sticky, so I find that it doesn't really move around on me once I have it in place. So now I'm going to build up my apex just like I would if I am building up onto my natural nail. But after I put that first strip of builder gel in the middle of my nail, then I'm going to put just a little bit of builder gel onto that nail form. Now this doesn't have to be too pretty because you can just file down what you don't need, but you just want it to be coming off from your free edge onto that nail form where you want to build that nail. Then you're going to cure for about 30 seconds. I think do 30 seconds in between each layer, just so that that layer is not going anywhere. And then at the end, I'll do a longer cure for up to like 2 minutes, just to make sure that's all completely cured, because you are doing some pretty thick layers of this builder gel. So while I'm doing it out from the free edge, you want to try and make sure that it is level with your natural nail, so it's not like a real big bump. I have a big bump right there, so I'm trying to fill that in with the builder gel. So this second layer that I did it a little bit further out on my natural nail from that first layer that I did, but it's not completely covering the entire nail just yet. And then I'm coming out again from the free edge and building a little bit more onto that nail that is on the nail form. So the third layer, and again, this is not a long nail at all that I'm building, so I'm only doing 3 layers. So this third layer, I'm going all the way to my proximal fold and pushing back to that proximal fold, trying not to get any of this builder gel onto my skin. If you are doing a longer nail, then again, you might want to do 4 layers or maybe even more, depending on how long you're wanting to build out that nail. And you can pretty much build this nail out as far as you want to. The builder gel, I find this builder gel is pretty strong. I haven't had any problems with it breaking on me from that free edge that I have, or that nail that I have created. So again, right here, I'm just trying to get it even as much as possible. The more even you get it, then the less buffing and filing that you have to do at the end. So after I get it built the way that I want it to, and as many layers as I want, then I do, like I said, like a 1:30 to 2 minute cure to make sure that all of those layers are completely cured before I file and buff. And you want to make sure that you look at it from every angle to make sure that it looks good before you cure it. After you cure it, you can pull off that nail form, and that's what it's going to look like before. And I like to take an alcohol wipe and, they wipe all that sticky layer off of my nail. And then you're going to file and shape it just like you normally would. So again, you can keep these pretty long, but I'm trying to get it the length of my other nails, and I'm filing it, and it's pretty sturdy right there at that length. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to file it down to match my other nails, so I'm gonna file it pretty short. And because this is just the builder gel, you want to file it down a little bit thinner than what you want the final product to be, because you're going to be adding some dip powder or other sort of nail enhancement over the top of this, and that's going to add some bulk to your nail as well. So you want to file it down a little bit thinner than what you want your final or end result to be. So during this process, if you do notice that anything is not cured completely, then you want to just stop and cure it a little bit longer. Sometimes even flipping your nail over to get the bottom side cured a little bit more should work to finish off that curing process if you notice that it's not cured completely. So the whole time that I'm filing and buffing, I'm rubbing my finger along the nail, so that kind of helps me see or kind of feel, because sometimes you can't really see all of the little bumps that are on there. So feeling your nail kind of just helps you to feel where those bumps are that you need to file off a little bit more. Then after you get it kind of filed down, then you're just going to buff with a buffer block. And after you get it buffed and smooth, then you can pretty much just wipe off all of that dust and be done at this point. But if you want it to be shiny and smooth, then you're just going to add a layer of base and a layer of gel top coat to the top of that nail. So just a quick recap in case you missed anything. For prep, you're going to remove your invisible cuticle. I use Blue Cross Cuticle Remover. Then you're going to remove the shine from your nail. You don't want to rough it up, you just want to remove the shine. So I recommend using a crystal file or a file greater than 240. For refill, you're just going to do this for new growth. Then you're going to remove any dirt or oils from your hands and nails with alcohol. And then you're going to dehydrate your nails to remove all of the moisture from your nail. This prevents any lifting of your nail enhancements. Then you're ready for any nail enhancement. For builder gel, you're going to remove any lifting of your previous builder gel. Then you're going to buff the surface and remove the shine of all previous builder gel. After that, you can start building with new builder gel, creating an apex. Again, I have a video on that if you don't know about that or need to know more. Then you're going to file and buff if needed. And if you do file and buff, make sure that all of your ends are capped. You can do this by putting another layer of base coat and top coat. This will ensure that there's no lifting on the free edge. So this is the finished nail, and this is actually a week after because I forgot to take pictures right after I did this video. So I did actually file it down a little bit more since I did this video, and it's not as fresh. Here's another set that I did on my left hand that is a little bit longer, and one that I built out from the free edge a little bit longer. So this nail enhancement should be good for up to 16 weeks, but you are filing it down as it grows out. So you should be good just to refill them every week. But if you do notice any breakdown in the nail enhancement, then you may want to take it off and start from scratch. So that is going to be all for this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.